Hi, welcome to this channel on magnetic energy, technology, principles, applications. This video is about, I'm calling it magnetic architecture, and I'll tell you why. So this is highly unconventional information, of course, and there's a lot of conspiracy around this topic, and I think I've touched on it long ago, but I think I should do it again. So all over the world, there are hundreds of buildings that have this incredible architecture in them, and that's like old churches. It could be anything from like royal buildings like used for royal families, museums, all of this stuff. And there's a lot of controversy and conspiracy around who built them and how history has been changed and modified, and trying to hide who the real designers are, the real builders, or whatever. Now, I don't know necessarily, and I think we will all get answers to that at some point, and there's no doubt about it. And also, I think that we will really come to appreciate this architecture. Whoever did it, I can say this much. Whether it was human beings or it was aliens, or human beings being guided by aliens or higher beings or angelic beings, whatever it is, whoever built them or designed them knew exactly what they were doing as far as like the etheric physics is concerned, and the designs fit so perfectly into this model. It's really kind of unbelievable. And I mean, they're all over the world, and they're usually, there's so much debate even about the ages of them. Some of them are thousands of years old, some of them are supposedly hundreds of years old, but they might be older than we're being told. And so there's all kinds of, it's deep in conspiracy. But this architecture, it has the geometry, of course. I mean, and we're talking like the angles and the ratios and everything that attract etheric magnetic energy, and that's why we call it magnetic architecture, because they all literally attract etheric neutral etheric energy into them. And so the architecture, the geometry, the ratios included, they all attract and accelerate the magnetic etheric flow in the structures themselves, and that's really unbelievable. The materials are also really kind of next level as far as like whoever was designing them, and the materials and the content and the bricks and everything they chose is quite revolutionary. It's completely consistent with this model, and it includes a lot of ionic balancing, which is incredible because when you think about it in terms of how do you attract etheric energy, which is neutral, and now if you have polarized ionic exchange happening through different elements that are in your bricks and in components, man, it's amazing. And then it's not only that, it's the way that they shaped the structures. And so they would create like the vortices, they would create the torus fields around them. All of that's incredible. Like as far as like the cavitation is concerned, so yeah, obviously the dome is consistent with this etheric model, but also the angles are consistent. But when you look inside of these structures, and if you ever are visiting, various cities around the world, they're all over the world. Notice like on the inside of them how they have specific like indentations, like cavitations, and little like perfectly spaced compartments throughout it. And it's not just decoration. These are very specific geometric ratios. So those cavitations, they produce the exact resonant frequencies and the exact amplification of those frequencies throughout the structure. So they're all completely connected. That's not just some pretty little design. There's incredible physics behind that. Now, in most of these structures around the world, the receivers have either been destroyed or removed by whoever was trying to maybe suppress the technology, or keep the technology out of the public's hands, or try to turn what could have like been this incredible energized temple into something that fit the religious model at that time. But I can tell you this, we will be going through some sort of transition. There may be debate on the timing, and there may be debate on the process, but I know for sure that we will all be going back to a level of consciousness where all of those sacred structures will become part of society again in the proper manner, in the etheric physics world. And so as we abandon this incredibly dark era of science that is so based on lies and manipulation and control, and it's completely ridiculous, and all the scientists in top secret labs know exactly what I'm talking about, that we have generations that are being brainwashed by a scientific model that is completely out of date and not in touch with reality for the actual technology that's being worked on undercover. And so we will get back in a society that embraces this architecture and this magnetic etheric architecture, and the receivers will be put back in place. The interconnectivity of them, whether it's through waterways or through etheric physics or resonant frequencies, will all come back online, and you will see that they are not just simple buildings. They are all devices. They are incredible devices that harness and channel energy at very specific frequencies for very specific uses. And once that energy and the receivers and those etheric batteries and the crystallized batteries are put back in place, they will become sources of energy and power for all kinds of devices, including like the devices on our website, but there's a million other types of devices that they will come in use for, and that will include everything that I talk about in these videos, like the anti-gravitic stuff, the free energy stuff, the producing matter stuff, the teleportation, everything, and then also assisting in ascension, having very powerful interdimensional ceremonies, connecting with higher beings, really tuning the planet back to the way it was meant to be tuned and the way that it's designed to be tuned. There is encoding right now around our world that is unbreakable, unstoppable, that will be pushing humanity back into a higher level of consciousness. And it's going to happen one way or another. There's no way to get around it. And you can look online, and there's various great videos that go over like all these different types of structures around the world. And I can link it if anyone wants a suggestion on that. I don't endorse the conspiracies one way or another. All I want to say is that whoever built these buildings, and there's hundreds of them all around the world, there's cathedrals, there's types of castles, there's types of sacred and everything. They're in every country. They knew a very high level of this etheric magnetic model and how to produce it in a structural form, and how to capture the energy and harness the energy and channel the energy through architecture. And there's no doubt that we'll be doing more of that when we get through into this ascension program. We'll go back into the materials, we'll get back into the crystal technology, the metallurgy that is conducive to this, get back into the alchemical process, and we will contribute to more of these types of structures around the world and rebuild the ones that have been destroyed so that the grid is reconnected around the world, the magnetic etheric grid, for balancing purposes. And we'll bring them all back online through waterways, through various technologies that will enhance their performance. And then, of course, all of the receivers will be put back in place. The materials that have been confiscated or destroyed will be put back in place. So magnetic architecture is a huge part of the human experience and the human community around the world, and it's going to be back in our lives. Once we get through this process, one way or another, we are going to get through it. And if we don't make it in this incarnation, we will definitely be back in it for future incarnations. So please send in any questions and comments that you have on this. And I just wanted to do a quick video and touch on this because it's a hot topic, and it's something that is very much part of our lives. And if you have a chance to visit those types of structures, and you can be quiet and do some meditation, you'll feel the etheric resonant physics that's happening in them. But then think about when they get turned back on for real. It's pretty mind-blowing technology, and it'll be like our devices essentially put in an architectural format. And then the devices will work very well in conjunction with those buildings and with those structures. So with that, I will see you next time.